Welcome to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Adjemi, powered by the Retirement Income Store and brought to you by Adjemi Financial Strategies in Guilford, Connecticut and Denver, Colorado.
You know, Dad, I was talking to an investor the other day and explaining what investing for income means. And I think a good definition for investing for income is being able to lower your risk and volatility while increasing the dependability of your returns. And so we were talking about income and talking about his portfolio especially. And he said, you know, when I signed up, I didn't realize what income is. We didn't use that definition, but it's also just difficult for people to wrap their head around changing from that 401k brain to a investing for income model. And so we looked at his portfolio and we saw that he had actually doubled his income from when he had started just a few years ago as an investor, as a client of ours. And he said, how did you guys do this? How is this possible that my income has doubled? And today we want to talk about, can you double your retirement income? I'm Daniel Adjemi.
And I'm Andrew Adjemi, and you're listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Adjemi, because people don't know what people don't know. We're glad to be back with you this week for another segment. And today's topic, as Daniel said, is double your retirement income. We want to help you be able to double it, to understand that you can double it, because what's so important in retirement is not as much about that you have $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, whatever it may be. But what's important is that you have the income that you need to be able to last the rest of your life and enjoy the rest of your life. So that's what we're going through today. And that's fantastic that we're able to do that. And in this example, Daniel, this person just wondering, I mean, I hear that all the time too, when I'm explaining how income has increased for our clients and whatnot. And that is, kind of a dumbfounding preposition. And it's from the standpoint of, the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest, because things compound. When things compound, it's different than just a growth aspect of things. So, as we start into this, I mean, I've got some things that I want to go into, Daniel, but I know you've got a lot of things that you're ready to say as well regarding and tell our audience. So why don't you kick it off today?
So imagine what you would do if you were able to double your retirement income. I mean, first off, would you want to? Do you think that's possible? Time is our most finite and valuable resource. Time. And typically people who don't understand how to invest for income ask you to give up your time in retirement so that markets will increase in value over time. That works when you're 20 years old, 30 years old, and you're saving for retirement. But if time is our most finite and precious commodity, why would we give that up so that we can hope, we can cross our fingers, cross our toes to try to get capital appreciation, when there's another way of doing it where you can collect a dependable income stream and either spend that to have the lifestyle you want, not give up your time, not say, well, in 20 years, I'm sure the market will be higher. So I'll put that new RV purchase, I'll put that visiting the grandkids, I'll put helping this loved one start their dream business off until I get capital appreciation, when you could actually create multiple income streams, that money is just pouring into your account. And like you said, Albert Einstein said, compounding interest is the eighth wonder of the world. If you don't want to do any of those things with doubling your income, with increasing your income, then you reinvest it and grow your portfolio organically, more dependably.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And as you were talking and going through that, I couldn't help to think about how you said, Daniel, think about what you would do with the retirement income. And what I'd like to say to you and our listening audience is, when you want to buy an RV, when you want to buy a new car, when you want to help a loved one get started in business, or give a gift to your granddaughter, grandson when they're getting married or graduating college or whatever that may be, do you want to do that by selling investments, or would you rather do that from income? How about all those things that you enjoy in your lifetime and retirement? Going to shows, playing golf, traveling. Would you rather sell investments to be able to get the money you need to do that, or would you rather be able to just take that from income and have that money coming in, have a check coming in to do that? And that's what we're talking about, is the need for doubling your income, is to be able to do that and not sell investments. But you can double your income, and that's the whole concept what we want to bring across today. Well, when we're talking about doubling income, one of the things that comes into mind is Social Security, and depending on how you take your Social Security is dependent upon how much income that you can get from that. And so we'd like to put something in your hands to help you to be able to understand Social Security and how you can get extra money from Social Security, which is called Understanding and Maximizing Your Social Security Benefits. And we'd like to put that in your hand, and that a commission report to be able to help you understand that. You can have that by calling 800-725-7616, or by going to our website, agemy.com, agemy.com, and you can ask for it there. The Understanding and Maximizing Social Security Benefits. You're listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew Daniel Adjemi. Today's topic is double your retirement income. When I'm thinking about doubling retirement income, the simplistic way that I like to explain that to people is through the scenario of the chickens and the eggs, and the aspect of, when we're investing, we're buying chickens with that money. When we buy chickens always produce a renewable resource of eggs. And now, if you don't need those eggs because maybe you're 10 years off from retirement, that's all well and dandy. Well, we take those eggs and what do? We buy more chickens with those eggs. We reinvest them. When we buy more chickens, what do? We get more eggs. Then when we get more eggs, we take that, we buy more chickens. And when we get even more eggs, right? And so that's the compounding effect that can go on and really turn assets, can actually double assets and double your retirement income. If you start off with $1 million, getting $50,000 or $60,000 a year from that $1 million, and you don't need that, and over a 10-year period of time, without the compounding nature, that's $500,000, $600,000 that you got, but with the compounding, puts it up to about $200,000, and then the income from that is in the vicinity of $120,000 or so. So not only do you have more assets, you have more income. Doubling your income is possible, and it's a thing that people need to be able to do to be able to have the money they need to last the rest of their lives.
So, you brought up Social Security, and I have seen you double people's income with Social Security. So there's multiple ways that we can double people's income. If you understand how to maximize Social Security, we have seen multiple people double their incomes by maximizing that, double their Social Security income by maximizing that. We've seen people double their investment income, both in the conservative end, which would be more things like guaranteed income, kind of pension type products, and investments, or in the dividends and interest area. We've seen people far more than double that. Why? Because most people in the investment industry do not understand income. Why don't they understand income? Because all the people who used to know how to get income, or used to get their clients' income, are either working with multi-million, tens or hundreds of $1 million people, because it's a difficult thing to do, and you have to have a niche in that. So then these people have niches, and they really work with ultra high net worth people. Or the other people have all died, right? The people who knew how to do that, they have died. And now we have young advisors who have never really seen a true bear market advising their people. And they're salespeople more than like portfolio managers or investment advisors, right? And so what they end up doing is just taking the research their firms passed down to them, which is always mutual funds or ETFs that may generate some income, but not a lot of income. So just by switching from those models over to an income model, I would bet you could double your income just in that, not even talking about all the compounding and everything you would do, if not triple your income with that just by switching models.
Oh, definitely, Daniel. That's a great aspect. I mean, you know, there are a lot of people that have common stock portfolios of individual common stock, and maybe those are you know, maybe they've got some high paying dividend stocks of 5%, but then there's some low paying ones in there as well, and maybe their average is somewhere around 3%, 3% or somewhere in there, and then like you say, just switching the model a little bit to an income producing model can double that income that's coming in right off the bat as well. And so, that's one of the things that we see often with our clients when they come over to us, that immediately their incomes double, generally speaking, because of few people get few dollars off of dividends and interest, generally speaking. Well, I want to remind you that that was coming time for us to take a break, and you're listening to Financial Strategies with Daniel and Andrew Adjemi, and today's topic is double your retirement income. And we have a book that we'd like to put in your hand today called The Richest Man of Babylon. And if you'd like that book, please call us at 800-725-7616. Very easy read book. Goes back to some tablets found in Babylon and archaeological digs of a man who was seen as being the richest man of Babylon, or at least a very rich man, and taught his friends through these tablets, through this information, how they could gain finances and gain wealth, financial wealth from that standpoint. So we'd like to help you be able to understand this, and it's good for people of all ages. You can have that by calling 800-725-7616, The Richest Man in Babylon. And we'll be right back after this.
I'm David Scranton, founder of the Retirement Income Store. If you're in or near retirement, are you certain you have the right retirement plan in place? Do you want to help ensure your nest egg will last you all throughout retirement? Take our retirement review quiz and find out in 5 minutes or less if you're doing everything you can to achieve a more successful retirement.
Visit us online at Adjemi.com. That's AGEMY.com. Welcome back to Financial Strategies with Andrew Adjemi in Connecticut and Daniel Adjemi in Colorado.
Double your retirement income. Most people love a good sale. And the whole idea behind a good sale is where you're able to buy, especially a 50% off sale, right? Now you're able to buy double the product for the same money, or get the same product for half of the money that you would never normally spend for that. A lot of people love sales and whatnot. And, I especially, I like sales, and I take advantage. And when Bitcoin drops in price, I buy more of it from that standpoint. And then it goes up and doubles my my assets from that standpoint. So I love to be able to double my money in those kinds of situations. But, one thing, as I've gotten older, I really hate to wait for sales. At this point in my life, when I want to get something, I want to get it. And it should be nice if I got it on sale, but I don't have to wait as much anymore to get it on sale to have double the purchasing power. Why? Because my income is growing. So where I have a sale every day, because I can get double the product for the same money, or I can get the same product for half the money because my income is increasing. And that's the big deal. What you can increase your purchasing power by getting things on sale, or you can increase your purchasing power by having more money to purchase it. And if your money is working harder to purchase it, it's kind of like the reverse of a sale. I'm Andrew Adjemi.
And I'm Daniel Edgemy, and you're listening to Financial Strategies. Today, we're talking about, can you double your income and double your retirement income? And that's a perfect example. It goes back to time, our time being the most finite, most valuable thing,
Right.
the most valuable commodity. And so, again, do you want to wait for those things to become on sale? Like,
Right.
of course, you'll take it if it's there. But why do it if you can double your purchasing power
Right.
from your
Right.
investments?
Yeah. Yeah, get it working hard, get that money in a sweatshop, working hard, sweating hard, right? To create more power for me to be able to purchase things, as opposed to sitting on the beach sipping pina coladas and actually going reverse between inflation and low interest rates and everything like that. So that's exactly right, Daniel. That's really cool. And we need to be able to double our retirement income because as we get older, we're going to, one of the biggest fears that people have is running out of money during their lifetime. And to me, the definition of a great retirement is having more income than you need to the day you die, having more income than you need to the day you die. And even though as you get older, people go from their go-go years to the slow-go years to the no-go years. In the no-go years, you're not going places and spending as much money going places. But now what the fact that comes into play is you're spending money with maybe health issues or staying at home and making sure that you have the care that you need to stay at home without putting a burden on your family from that standpoint. And that costs money. So we need to make sure that we have the income that's needed, more income than you need to the day you die. Very important to be able to double your income.
Yeah, and we love bringing good news to people, right? It's exciting, it's invigorating. When you're in retirement, it should be enjoyable. It should be the best part of your life. And one of the ways that we bring that good news to people is by helping them increase that income. Why do people have that fear of running out of money? Well, it's because if you're spending your assets down, you can run out of money, right?
That's right.
I think the more you think about the game of Monopoly, the more you realize the way to win the game of money, right?
Right.
I mean,
right.
we're giving away that book, Richest Man in Babylon.
Uh-huh.
And that was written in 1926. And so for Nassim Taleb, who is a philosopher, an investment, a manager, a risk manager, says the longer a book lasts, the more valuable it is. So these principles are from thousands of years ago.
Right.
The book was written then, and it's still good information. All the principles still work from 1926, right?
100 years old. Deal. Yeah, that is.
But why I brought that up is because Tony Robinson, his endorsement on the book is money, master the game, right? That's what he says about this book. And that's what we're talking about with Monopoly. You have to master the game. Well, money is the same thing. And how do you win the game of Monopoly? By creating multiple streams of income, right?
Right. Buying motels, buying houses, put them on your property, buying motels, put them on your property. Exactly. Yeah.
And so if you just play the game and you don't collect any of those rents, if you don't collect any of that income, are you going to win the game? No. I mean, maybe if you play with some people that are really bad, maybe. But the whole point is you get the income and then you use that income to do what? Buy more properties, buy more railroads, buy more, right? And then it increases your income and then you can buy more. And that's what we're talking about here, about increasing your income. Now, you could still get appreciation on those properties, but you buy the hotels in Monopoly so that you get appreciation?
Nope.
You buy them for the income, so you can buy more.
Right.
And then you get appreciation on them sometimes.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter if you did or not. Because you had the income and you bought more that bought you more income and bought you more income.
Exactly. If you've just joined us, you're listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew Daniel Edgemy. Today's topic is double your retirement income. And one of those ways to be able to help you double your retirement income is understanding and maximizing Social Security benefits. Because depending upon how you take Social Security benefits can be dependent upon what you actually get from Social Security and how long you get it from and how much money you actually get. So you can actually double money and get exponential money from Social Security. So we'd like to put this piece in your hands called Understanding and Maximizing Social Security Benefits. If you want to know more about that, check out our podcast and previous shows on Social Security. But with this, we have this for you today. It's only about a 2 or 3 page document that we'd love to get off to you. And you can have that by calling our operators at 800-725-7616. 800-725-7616 or checking us out on our website and asking for it on the contact us information there. The Social Security white paper, the Social Security Commission report, 800-725-7616. Listening financial strategies, double your retirement income is what we're talking about today. And, we need to be able to double the retirement income because, when I'm talking to a client, I'm saying I'm talking to 2 people today. I'm talking to Mr. Client the younger, because you're younger than you're ever going to be again. And I'm talking to Mr. Client the elder. And because Mr. Client the younger needs to take care of Mr. Client the younger as well as Mr. Client the elder, because once you turn into Mr. Client the elder, it's going to be too late to do any planning because that time will have gone by that Daniel's been talking about in today's show. And time is not for you. Time is against you at that point, and you need to make sure that you have what you need to live the rest of your life.
Yeah, something radical that maybe people haven't thought about is why work for your money. I mean, we go to jobs to have purpose and we do these kinds of things. Now you retire, but now who's working for you? Now what's working for you, right? And so what I learned a long time ago, and you learned a long time ago, was the best way to grow your wealth is to have your money work for you. And that's what that book, The Richest Man of Babylon, is all about. It's about making your investments work for you. But money makes money better than you make money, typically, right? Than the average person. Because while you're sleeping, guess what it's doing?
Yeah, it's
working.
Money.
While you're out having coffee, while you're on vacation, while you're hanging out with your family, while you're taking less and less time going to work, your money is compounding and is working for you. And that is really the secret to this whole thing of doubling your money, is making your money work for you.
Right.
While you're asleep.
Yeah.
While you're on vacation, while you're out shopping, while you're hanging out with the grandkids.
Right. That's I love that. I love what's happening, with just my assets. And Daniel, you've helped me to get involved with Bitcoin and some cryptocurrency and stuff recently. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty fun. That's pretty exciting. But that's a small piece of all my assets. But you know what I don't like about it, Daniel? When it doesn't grow, it doesn't grow.
Well, I mean,
and it's boring at times.
that's one of the things that you can do, even with cryptos. A lot of them you can earn income on. I just set up a self-directed Roth IRA, so my crypto assets are earning interest on them. Right, they're earning interest, and it's buying more, compounding. While I'm asleep, while I'm doing whatever, you with your Bitcoin, you're earning interest on it. So it's the same principles with any of these assets that you put into the retirement portfolio. You can still get appreciation, but when it's boring or they're going sideways or they're going down, you're buying more and more and more with the interest and dividends. Exactly. And that compounds faster than us as humans can even comprehend.
Right.
Because it's not linear, right?
Right. But so many times, Daniel, people have this thought of doing things the same old way that everybody else has done. When you do the things that everybody else does, what are you going to get? You're going to get the same thing what everybody else gets. If you want to get something different than everybody else gets, you got to do something differently. You reap what you sow. And so if you do the same stuff the same fashion way, and you depend upon the S&P 500 for growth of your money, and that can that was my idea with the Bitcoin. When it's growing, it's all well and good, but when it's not growing, it's boring, and it's like, oh, terrible, nothing's happening. But if you got those dividends and interest coming in, that be able to help double that money by compounding it. You got growth that goes $10 a share, $11 a share, $13 a share, that kind of thing. And the growth is okay, but compounding is when you get 6% this year, and then you don't spend that. And then next year you get a 6% on top of the 6% plus your original balance. And then the next year you get 6% upon the 6% plus the original balance. And that's the compounding effect that will help double the income. If you do that with your income, it will double your income, not just your assets. Whereas most people just try to grow their assets and they don't think about their income. Why? Because they just do what everybody else does. They follow the herd. It's the herd mentality. And all your life, for 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, sometimes in your 60s, all you're thinking about is growing your money. But when you start getting in your 50s and then especially 60s and absolutely the 70s, you need to be thinking about income and how to have more income than you need to last the rest of your life. Well, you've been listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Adjemi. We're going to need to take a break here. And today's topic is double your retirement income. And we hope that you're enjoying today's show. We're having a good time doing it. We have a book for you called The Richest Man of Babylon. As Daniel had mentioned, this from information taken from ancient Babylon, but was put together in the book in 1926 timeframe. And the principles were used to be able to help get the author out of debt and actually into wealth, as well as his friends. And it's a very interesting thing to be able to understand and read and be able to just some very basic, simple principles that you can get going. Never too late to start. And you can have that by calling 800-725-7616, 800-725-7616. You're listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew Daniel Adjemi, because people don't know what people don't know. So we'd like to put this book in your hands. Call us now.
History tells us the market goes up and the market goes down. What would you do if you lost half of your retirement savings? It's time to make the shift to steady, reliable retirement income. And where do you go? The Retirement Income Store. Log on to Adjemi.com for your free retirement review. That's AGEMY.com. The Retirement Income Store, where retirees go for income.
Welcome back to Financial Strategies with Andrew Adjemi in Connecticut and Daniel Adjemi in Colorado.
Not so long ago, I received a call from one of our radio listeners who needed some money, needed income. And in talking with him about what was going on, he is living on about $800 a month of Social Security. Talking with him, found out that, I said, Harry, how are you living on $800 a month? That's like hardly anything. I mean, especially in Colorado, how are you doing that? And he explained to me, a little bit in regard to how he was able to live on. I had a rent for $300 a month that he for his living arrangements and some other things, had his car paid off and whatnot. But I said, still, I don't understand how you could do that. Well, we looked at his assets and started working on that. And I said, by the end of that call, I said, Harry, I've got some ideas for how you can double your income. Well, as time went on, we worked on that a little bit more. And today we've got Harry's income doubled. And we expect in a couple of years that he's going to be able to increase the amount of money he's getting from Social Security. And then his assets are going to be able to have more income. So he's going to actually be able to double again his income in the next few years, if he so desired, to be able to have what he needs and more than enough income to have what he needs for the rest of his life. I'm Andrew Adjemi.
And I'm Daniel Adjemi, and you're listening to Financial Strategies. We're talking about doubling your retirement income today. Is it possible? Would you want to double it? What would you do with that extra income? Would you spend it? Would you reinvest it? Would you buy the grandkids some extra presents? Or would you just go on vacation?
Or would you just have fun trying to figure out what you're going to do with it? How about that? Be creative. Have a time of doing, just having some fun with that.
Make your own sales, right? Make your own sales, make your own shopping sales. People are worried about purchasing power because of what's going on with our government, what's going on with these ridiculous spending bills, what's going on with the Federal Reserve just buying all of the U.S. Debt. Right. And so doubling your purchasing power can come in awful handy when we see prices of things just going up, 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 up. Right. You can cross your fingers, cross your toes, hope and pray that you get a capital appreciation because things are going up. Right. But why do that when you're in retirement, when you can increase that income through dividends and interest, investing for income? One of the ways that is done, the rule of 72 says that if you can earn 7.2% a year, you'll double your money in 10 years.
Right.
Can you do that in the market? Maybe, maybe not. But if you use any of the money in the meantime, it throws the whole thing off. Mm-hmm. And it's a maybe. Do you want to go get on an airplane and fly to visit your grandkids if maybe it will make it?
Maybe you have enough fuel in it. If the pilot says, hey, I think we have enough fuel to get there, but I'm not quite sure. How do you like that?
You wouldn't get on the plane. Maybe there's a couple people in the audience that would get on the plane, but the majority of you would not get on that plane. And so why would you do the same thing with your retirement with a maybe? So I'm sure everybody wants to know how. This is great. I get this income. I get that it is lowering my risk. It's lowering my volatility while increasing my dependability of asset accumulation. But how do we do it? How do I get that money? And why does it work better?
Yeah, that is that's the question, right? So when we're looking at the different things that are available, many times people think of investing of being in the stock market, or the other thing they can do with the money is being in the bank. And of course, we know that nothing happens at a bank except that it's the guaranteed way of losing money. From purchasing power and so forth. But people think the only game in town is the stock market, which is not true. There's other different aspects. If we were to take all investments and divide them into three categories: conservative, moderate, and aggressive. Well, the aggressive category and different phases of it, the conservative, moderate, aggressive side of aggressive would be some form or fashion of the stock market or those kinds of investments like that, and risky stuff like that.
So but that's capital appreciation.
Yes.
That's hope.
Yes.
That's crossing your fingers and toes.
Yes.
You can get big returns, but it's a gamble. It's going to the casino, and maybe it's 50-50. Maybe it's not even a 50-50 shot that the stuff will go up. And it's putting your time in replacement for using your time so that over time things will increase. That's what you're saying when you're talking about the aggressive.
That's right. That's right. And when we're talking about that too, I just want to say this, is that when you're talking about the aggressive aspect like that, and you use the analogy of the casino, Daniel, and my friend tells a story about how, his mother had a birthday, so he took her to the casino. And prior to going to the casino, he said to her, okay, Mom, so, what's going to be the limit here? What are we going to spend? What are we going to win? And how are we going to do this? And so they made a deal on what they were going to do. Well, they went in and she started winning. She made like $1,000. And he said, okay, let's go have dinner. We're done. You made money. Let's go have dinner. She said, what are you talking about? I'm winning. Why would I lose it? Why would I leave at this point? Right. And that's so many times what happens with people. Hey, you're making it right now. We'll leave while you're making the money. Leave while the leaving's good. Go take that. The whole thing about investing is buy low, sell high. But you got to sell while it's high. But so many times if you hang on, that if she went back there, he's finally able to get her out and go to dinner with her. But many times you go to the casino and it's a losing bet from that standpoint, that many times people leave having lost money rather than having actually walked away with money from that standpoint. So that's what you have to really take a look at. Well, I want to let you know that you're listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Adjemi. Double your retirement income is what today's topic is. We have a report that will tell you about the different things that how you can double your income with your money, okay? As far as what kinds of things can you invest in. It's called the Universe of Income Generating Investments. And this is a commission report that we put together for you in our listening audience. And you can have it by calling 800-725-7616, 800-725-7616 for your free copy of the Universe of Income Generating Investments. Just call. Our operators are there now and get that. So doubling your retirement income is something that you need to be able to do to be able to have money last the rest of your life. The question is, well, how can we do that? We talked about the way not to do it is by investing in the aggressive column of all investments, which is the stock market. It's hope. Well, then we have the moderate column, which is more has promises associated, and then we have the conservative column has guarantees. And you say, well, Andrew, conservative is not paying anything. That's the bank. Well, it's more than the bank. You see, each one of these columns, the aggressive, moderate, and conservative column, all have aggressive, moderate, conservative within there. And within the conservative category, the bank is the conservative end of conservative. But there are other things in the aggressive end of conservative that you can't lose any money, but you can still make money when the stock market goes up. So there's a universe of options. And that's why we have the white paper. That's why we have the commission report, to be able to help you understand these different things. But what they're designed to do is to be able to give you interest and dividends, as opposed to exclusively where most of the investments in 401k plans, 403bs, 457s, and most of the things that some of these big name companies have are growth oriented, appreciation oriented, like Daniel mentioned, in regard to the aggressive column that go, kind of like $10 a share, $11 a share, $12 a share, or $30 a share, $40 a share, $50, or $100 a share, $150 a share, whatever it may be. But the dividend aspect, the income aspect that's coming in just because is either not there, non-existent, or it's minute in nature. Am I right, Daniel?
You lost me. So we're in the conservative, and that's the bank. So that would be like digging a hole in the ground, throwing your money in it, and then coming back in 10 years and realize you lost 50, 100% of your purchasing power. I mean, if you do a quick calculation on what the dollar has done, basically, since the Federal Reserve was started, people have lost 98% of purchasing power. So the dollar, or not people, right? Because 1911 or 1913, it was started. And so since then, the dollar has lost 98% of its purchasing power. So the bank, you're not earning anything. They're earning all your money. There's this fallacy that goes, well, rates are at nothing, so the bank's not making any money on your money, so they can't pay you anything. But that's not actually true. They're taking it, they're paying it to their shareholders, they're doing buybacks with the money they're earning on your money instead of paying it to you. But because everybody accepts you can't make any money on your money, right?
Right.
What do? They just buy back their stocks. They give their CEOs bonuses. They do these kinds of things, but they are earning something like, you could go look at the big banks' financial statements, and they're earning something like 8% on your deposits. So why aren't they giving you part of that? So we're calling that conservative, well, digging a hole in the ground and putting your money in it, right?
Yeah, and that is a great example of the wrong kind of fiduciary. There, the president of those banks are fiduciaries for the stockholders of the company, not for the account holders of the company. And when people talk about fiduciaries, you have to make sure that who are they a fiduciary for? Is it for me as the account holder, or is it for the stockholders of the company? So that's a great example. That's what's happening there. The banks are making money for their stockholders. That's what they're supposed to do. They don't have to make money for their account holders, and they're not. right? And putting the money in the bank today, I think it's so ironic because Jesus said, right, that when in the parable of the talents, one guy was given 1 talent, another guy was given 2, another guy was given 5. The guy with the 2, the guy with the 5, they doubled theirs. The guy with the 1 talent buried it in the ground. Jesus said to him, you should have at least, or the master said to him, you should have at least put the money in the bank, and you could have gotten interest. Well, today you can't even get any interest in the bank. So that's why I think it's so interesting. It's just like burying it in the ground, which is the whole idea of that unfaithful steward. He was given that money, he buried it in the ground, he didn't do what was right with the money, and he got reprimanded for that. It wasn't his money. But how much worse is it if it's your money and you've got it in the bank? I see people with tens and hundreds of $1,000s in the bank, not making any money, when there's a universe of options that could be available to them from that standpoint. Well, we're running out of time in this section. We're going to get more into that after we come back after our break. You're listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Adjemi. Today's topic is double your retirement income so that you can have more purchasing power and do more things. Well, we have a book that we'd like to give you to be able to help across the board. Easy read book. Richest Man of Babylon is what it's called. And you can have that book for free by calling, no obligation, calling 800-725-7616, 800-725-7616. Call now for your free copy of The Richest Man of Babylon. We'll be right back after this.
I'm David Scranton, founder of the Retirement Income Store. If you're in or near retirement, are you certain you have the right retirement plan in place? Do you want to help ensure your nest egg will last you all throughout retirement? Take our retirement review quiz and find out in 5 minutes or less if you're doing everything you can to achieve a more successful retirement.
Visit us online at Adjemi.com. That's AGEMY.com.
All right, so here's a little riddle. When is 7% return on your money? 7% average per year, not 7%. Well, when the answer is, well, before I go to the answer, when is 6%? 6%. All right. So the answer is 7% is not 7% when you're investing in the stock market, because the stock market over the past 20 years has done about 7%, actually a little bit less, S&P 500, without fees and just as you go with that, without dividends. So it's not 7%, because some years it's 21%, 30%. Some years it's a negative 20% or 30% from that standpoint. And so, depending what you make is going to be dependent upon when you had the money in there and what happened at that point in time. But when is 6%? 6%. Well, 6% is always 6%. And it's something that you can count on when you're getting dividends and interest to the tune of 6%. Well, Andrew, how can you get dividends and interest to the tune of 6%? Well, that's why you're listening to Adjemi, to Financial Strategies with Daniel and Andrew Adjemi. I'm Andrew Adjemi.
And I'm Daniel Adjemi. And we are talking about doubling your retirement income. Doubling your retirement income. Can you do it? Do you want to double your income? And what would you do with all that money if you did?
Right, exactly. Today, when we're talking about this, we talked about all investments and the section of the aggressive investments, which being the hope-oriented stock market stuff. We talked about the conservative section being kind of the guaranteed section of it. And then there's the middle section, the moderate section of all investments, the moderate section where you have conservative, moderate, aggressive and moderate investments that are able to generate income and interest today, somewhere between 4 to 6%, depending on average. We're working hard at saving around that 5% mark or more. And depending upon people's risk strategies, we're able to have to be able to get some good income from that promised income that you can count on, that you can take to the bank, that you can double that. There's things like individual bonds, preferred securities, business development corporations, real estate investment trusts, There's some other things that we throw in there, international dividend paying investments, various things that can help. Daniel, what are some other things in there that work well?
So one of the most beautiful things about investing for income is there's multiple ways to make money. Okay. So we talked about the 7%, 7.2, your money doubles.
Right.
In 10 years, right? And that's great with your assets. So if you got that and you had 100,000 in 10 years, you have $200,000. Is that realistic? Maybe not, right? Just going for the cross your fingers, capital appreciation. Maybe not. Maybe you needed some money in the meantime and your assets were under. And that's what you were talking about, 7% not being 7%, right?
Right.
Howard Marks said that, so you're 6 foot tall. How did you drown in 5 foot on average stream of water, right?
Right.
Well, do you want your retirement to drown because on average the stock market did 7%? I don't want to. I'm not going that way. Now, how does that happen? Well, the dividends can increase. For example, we just had a dividend increase by 7%, right? So you were already collecting your dividends, you get capital appreciation, you get all this other wonderful stuff. It had already appreciated tremendously, but we got on top of that a 7% increase in the dividend.
Wow.
That's pretty great. That's where
wonderful.
You start seeing, we can double the income, because if we're getting another one increased by 20%, right? The dividend increased by 20%.
Fantastic. Boy, that's
so you're already collecting the interest and dividend, and that's compounding, right? So you're growing your money with your money. So this dollar is earning interest, which is earning interest, which is earning interest, which is earning interest. So in that example, your 100,000, if it's earning 6% interest, now in a year you got 106,000 that's earning interest.
Yeah.
But we just got a 7% increase in dividends. So we're growing even another way, and you can get capital appreciation in there as well, especially with volatility. So that's how you start seeing the magical, this compounding interest that Einstein was talking about.
Yeah. That is just amazing stuff. When you're talking about a 7% increase on the dividend, that's just amazing to me, right? Because a lot of people when they're working, they would love to get a 3% increase on their pay. Well, we're talking about a 7% increase on that dividend, which is equivalent of 7% of the pay on that particular investment. And if we can do that for the whole portfolio, and we've seen people that have done 10% increase on their income in their portfolios over a year's time. That's phenomenal on all their income. If they're getting $100,000, they're up to $110,000 because of the increase. And that's just a beautiful thing. That's why we're talking today on Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Adjemi. Double your retirement income. It is possible, and we can do it. And we have this piece that we have together for you today to tell you about the different kinds of investments, that some of the investments that we use in regard to making that happen, which is a universe of income generating investments. And this is a piece that we put together for you that you can use it yourself. You can use it with us. You can, whatever you want to do. We just want to get you this information because we're trying to help people know what people don't know. And this is part of our educational process to help you to do that. You can have that piece, Universe of Income Generating Investments, by calling 800-725-7616, 800-725-7616. Ask for it for the income generating investments piece. All right. And we'll get that off to you. Now, I want to talk, as we wrap up today's show, we talked a little bit about Social Security, but I want to help you understand how Social Security works. If every year that you wait over your full retirement age, which is if you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67 years old. So every year you wait over that, you'll get an extra 8% per year increase. So we were just talking about how people in their jobs like to get 3% a year increase. Well, this is an 8% increase until you actually start receiving Social Security. So over that period of time, that's a 24% increase in that. Now, depending how you take it, depending if you're married, that kind of thing, it can increase it even more. So let's just say, I know of one of our clients who, the wife is turning 62 next year. She's going to start collecting a reduced Social Security for her benefit, and then the husband is going to be not collecting Social Security until he's 70 years old. So he's going to get that extra increase on that from that standpoint, as well as extra money that he's putting in because of his working and earning money. So it's really going to be more than a 20% increase from the full retirement age to the time he's 70 years old. And she then at that point is going to switch over to what's called the spousal benefit, which would be 50% of her husband's full retirement age amount, which is going to come very close at that point to doubling what they would have gotten if he had taken his at full retirement age and she taken hers at full retirement age. So that's a way, with some planning, some investment knowledge, can put you in a better position for that. And that goes along with the podcast and the show that we did a couple weeks ago on why it's important to be able to do retirement planning, why you need to plan. Because if you don't plan, you're going to make a decision by indecision. And that's not really any kind of decision to make. What you want to do is make a decision on purpose with knowledge to be able to help you make a smart decision.
So with that Social Security, you're saying that you can collect either your Social Security benefit or your spouse or half of your spouse's, whichever is more.
Right. So
I heard somebody actually talking to a congressperson who said, "Why are you guys paying me $3,000 Social Security? I don't need it. You shouldn't be paying it to me. And my wife is collecting $1,000." So his wife could have been collecting $1,500, and that would have increased her retirement income by 50%.
Right, 50%. That's right. Crazy, right? Crazy money, crazy percentages.
Half of the double right there.
There we go. There we go. It's a beautiful thing, but you need to understand. You need to know what you don't know. And too many times people don't know what they don't know. They're sold the bill of goods. They're talked to. They've got good salespeople. I can't help to think about the guy who put together our building. He was a great salesperson. He sold me on himself, but ran away with my money without finishing my building. Right. So he really benefited, but I lost out. And but that's where we're trying to be able to educate people with their good information so that they don't lose out. And if you're listening to our show today, we understand that you're getting some good information. We have other podcasts. If you haven't checked out our website, agemy.com, agemy.com, please do that, because you'll be able to get some more information on there, whether it's videos or it's the other podcasts, or anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can listen to the different things we done on Social Security and whatnot from there. Daniel, as we finish up here today, final comments.
So if you're mad about not making money in the bank account, especially when we talked about, burying that money basically in a hole in your backyard, or we've used the thing before, you put it in the backyard, open up the back gate and somebody comes and lights 1% of it on fire, 2% of it on fire each year, your $1 million is getting smaller and smaller. One of the things that we do, since we know these banks are making 8% on your deposits, is we use some of the bank's preferred stocks, and it's treated very well tax-wise. And some of these big banks are paying us a 6% coupon. So what's wrong with collecting 6%? And it's treated far more favorably than your interest in the bank account.
Tax-wise.
You might pay nothing in taxes on that 6% you're earning on those preferred stocks. Or depending on your income bracket, maybe it'll be 10 or 15%. If you're really, really high earner, maybe it's 20%. But for most people, it's in that 10% range.
Nice.
So there's a way you could take advantage of those banks that are taking advantage of you.
Okay, excellent, excellent. If you have any questions that you want to talk to Daniel and I off the air, please call us at 800-725-7616. Also, if you want that book, The Richest Man of Babylon, that's available to you as well by calling us at 800-725-7616. Well, it's been good visiting with you here today. And, there's two ways of investing for income, investing for the I, or you can invest for growth, invest for the G. If you want your retirement to be stress-free, invest for the I and not the G. Till next week, we'll see you.